Okay, well, welcome to Module 5, which is going to be on what I like to call the small muscle circuit, one of the three mechanical circuits, and that includes what the right elbow does as it bends, folds, and unfolds in the golf swing, folds in the backswing, unfolds in the forward swing, what the wrists do, both in the backswing and the forward swing, particularly how it affects the release, and what the forearms do. We're going to start with right arm and then do wrists, and we'll end with forearms. So it's a pretty important piece of the golf swing. I think there's a number of misconceptions people have about the action of the right arm and the wrists and the forearms. All three are secondary sources of power, and they can be both active sources, secondary sources, or passive. So that's the first one. The second one we call going east, which is you need to understand which direction the right arm angle has to gradually open up. Now, if you're a mid to high handicap golfer, particularly if you suffer from a form of early release or over the top, they tend to go together. Throw me a ball real quick, Dan. Because people are ball bound and they think the ball is the target, which it definitely is not. The ball is not the target in golf. You've heard me say that a million times if you've been watching the earlier modules. But if you think it is, and you get to the top of your backswing and you see the ball there, you try to make a movement toward the ball. That means your lever angle release is happening much too early. And remember, the levers are the upper left arm, the upper right arm, the right arm angle folding, and then releasing, and then the left wrist cocking and the right wrist cocking. So we got 5 levers we have to time the release of, right? The way. The second one is for top of backswing. Or rather, I should say second half of backswing. What we teach is if you're of average or better than average flexibility, we want to have the wrist cock, that 50% that's left of wrist cock angle completed by the time your left arm gets parallel to the ground or just below. Impact, and then it rolls. And the way I like to have people do it is to have somewhere between a half roll and a quarter roll. So the wrists bring the club head down toward the ground like this as they open up, and my body moves the club head forward in the horizontal dimension. What you guys are doing when you release early is you're moving the club head forward in the horizontal toward the back of the ball, apply the direction of the force toward the target idea. You're doing that by going like this. So your wrist cock is opening up. As it goes down, it also is going this way, and that's called a flip. And let the left knee straighten. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. And maybe not so much, keep that a little more stable. Yeah, and then go a little faster. A little faster. Yeah. And then go full speed. Yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about. So it's forearm rotation, wrist cock release, the point in the swing where you start your wrist cock release, especially, which affects how much how much wrist cock you have left at impact, and how momentum affects the hinge angle. So the 3 release types are called freewheeling, which was Bobby Jones' term, hold off, and those 2 are opposite ends of the spectrum, and hybrid, right? Okay, more on release types. Just to review, we have 3 possibilities, which are active, which is always later in the downswing before it begins, and which is one reason it produces the most club head speed for the most distance, because the opening up, the trigger point of we call it the release trigger point, is somewhere in this area in here, versus a passive release, which is the trigger point there for the release, is somewhere between here and here, and the hybrid release, which is somewhere between here and here. Right wrist. From down the line view, it would look like something like at P6. You'd probably be about like that. Again, not quite as much hinge angle, right? And impact, again, you'd be sort of like that, right? And then hybrid would just be in between those 2, right? uncock down, transfer a little weight, hip rotation, belly rotation, chest rotation, tilt, forearm rotation, squares the face. So you've got this part, what I just mentioned, the rightward tilting of the spine, the back move happening. You got the up toward the sky part, the parametric acceleration, and you got the rotary part. All three of those are combining to basically go into, against, around, over, whatever language you want to use, that straightening left leg, and it causes a transfer of energy throughout your body, which I call the wave. And where it really matters is it causes your wrists to uncock really fast. When that wave hits your wrist joint, you'll feel a force just snap them open really fast. And that's what traditional teachers call whip cracking. You can think of it like if you know what a nunchuck weapon is in Asian martial arts, it's two pieces of wood or metal about a foot long each with a thong at each end connecting them. Kind of like works how a flail works. And that sudden deceleration of the 1 foot long wooden dowel in your hand causes a transfer of energy to the second dowel.